Good morning, everybody. You are currently listening to a Tall Girls podcast hosted by a tall girl named India. I hope everyone who is tuning in today is doing super fantastic. Before I get into this episode, I do want to say make sure you're following me on my socials at a Tall Girls podcast on Instagram, TikTok, and Pinterest so that you can stay up to date on all of the latest podcast episodes and catch a glimpse of my everyday life. Also, feel free to leave me a review and let me know how tall you are. I'm genuinely curious. By the way, we got short people listening to this podcast. I repeat, we got short people listening to this podcast. Okay, I'm making it seem like it's a bad thing, but it's not. Okay, short people can listen to this podcast. Anyone can listen to this podcast, really, because we're all about self-confidence here and feeling comfortable in your own skin. But I did make this podcast with the intention of targeting tall women and tall people. So it's just very interesting that short people actually listen to this podcast, because I got a review the other day, last week actually, somebody saying that they were binge listening to this podcast and they were indeed 4'10", and I was like, wow, that is so interesting because I'm talking about my life as a tall person who's 5'10" and a half, and they're 4'10", but they actually enjoy listening to this podcast. It's just crazy to me. But they did bring up a good point. They did say that they have similar experiences as me, as tall people, with the bullying and the name calling and all that good stuff. Well, it's not really good stuff, but they can relate in some way. It's just in the opposite end of the spectrum. So, hey, I'm here for it. Also, they did say that I was a foot taller than them. I'm a foot and a half inch taller than them because I am 5'10" and a half, not 5'10" anymore. So just had to throw that out there. So if you're listening to this episode right now, shout out to you. Also, shout out to you for being a foot and a half inch shorter than me, because they did say that it was a foot, but I am indeed 5'10" and a half. So shout out to you for being a foot and a half inch shorter than me. Is that proper math? I think it is. I think the math is correct. Let's hope it is. I haven't fully started school yet. So, well, by the time I'm recording this episode, I haven't fully started school yet. So I'm not in that brainiac mode just yet. But by the time this episode is up, I would have completed my first week. So I'll let you guys know how that went next week or over on my social medias. Also, another funny thing, I saw not one, not two, but 3 people from my high school. See, the thing is with me, I don't like seeing people from my past like that. I don't know why. I think it's because maybe I just did not like a lot of them. So I just prefer not to see them. So usually if I would see somebody from my middle school or high school, I would hide or pretend I didn't see them and run away. But these 3 people were actually people that I liked. So it was just nice seeing them and catching up with them. It's good to hear that the people that I actually liked in high school are doing well for themselves and are doing big things. So it was just so nice to catch up with them, and I hope to keep in contact with them going forward. It's just crazy that we quite literally all live in a small world. But yeah, anyways, moving on to today's podcast episode, we are talking about feeling cringe or cringing at ourselves. We all do it. We all cringe at ourselves at some point in time. And if you haven't cringed at yourself, I just want you to, check your pulse, make sure you're a human being, because how? Or maybe you're just so confident and so secure in yourself that you don't have to cringe at yourself. That's also an option. But if you ask me, this is a great topic to talk about, because no matter who you are, no matter your age, no matter your height, no matter whatever traits you have, everybody has experienced this at least once in their life. So I'm going to give you a little example. Let's say one day you're going out into the town with your friends. That sounds so weird to say. Just follow with me, okay? Follow along with me. You're going out into the town, you're going out into the city, you're just going out with your friends, and you dress up, you look good, you put your favorite outfit on, you got some nice shoes on, got your hair done, did your makeup, whatever, and you just look in the mirror, and that day you're just like, wow, I look good. I feel good, as you should. And you go out and you're just like, let me just get a few pics for the gram. I got an ex to make jealous. I got haters to make mad. I got people waiting for me to show up and show out on my feed on Instagram, or I don't know, TikTok does carousel posts. So gotta show up on TikTok or whatever social media, Facebook. I'm sorry, I don't mean to laugh at the people who use Facebook, but going out pictures on Facebook, do people do that? Let me stop, because people actually do that. Yes, I'm on Facebook just a little bit, just a tiny bit. At a Tall Girls Podcast on Facebook, make sure you follow me on there too. But hey, if you want your family members to see you vibing out at the club or whatever on Facebook, go for it. But you just want to get good pictures to post somewhere, or just get good pictures because you want good pictures. So you're doing your thing, you found a place, a location or whatever, you got your friends snapping pictures with you, you're feeling yourself, they're like, yes, you're a baddie, look at you, you look great or whatever. And you're just in the moment. You're very in the moment. You feel good. You're posing because you know that you're that girl, or you're that guy, or you're that person, period. Fast forward to the next day, you wake up, hopefully not hungover, and you look through your pictures and you're like, oh my gosh, what is that? That is disgusting. Ew. I can't even look at these. These are so cringy. Yes. We have probably said that or thought that at some point in time when we've looked at ourselves in pictures or in videos. This is so cringe. I am so cringe. This is so cringy. I am so cringy. You start pointing out your flaws. You start asking yourself, who is this person? Like, why did I ever think that I looked good? Why did I ever think that I could feel myself? Because I just look so embarrassing. And trust me, we've all been there. I just think that it has to do with the fact that there is this misalignment of what we see and what we actually believe. So, for instance, in the pictures that you took while you were out in the town or whatever, you see this person who is like confident and sees themselves as a baddie, it's giving baddie energy. That's what you see. These pictures are giving baddie energy. Like, I look good, I feel good, etc. But you may not actually believe that you are a baddie. You may not actually believe that you are that person in that photo. I think there's a term for it. I learned this in one of my classes from last semester. Do I remember it? No. But if you know the term for it, let me know, because I'm genuinely curious about that. But what we see in these pictures is just somebody who is confident and secure within themselves, but we don't actually believe that. So because we don't believe that we're that confident person, that we're that baddie, that we're that secure person, we're just like, this is gross. This is all a lie. You know what I mean? It may also have to do with how other people perceive us, which can ultimately affect how we perceive ourselves, especially when we get to that age, like teenage years and 20s, when other people's opinions start actually like affecting our mindset and affecting how we think about ourselves and our lives and stuff like that. Prime example of how other people's perceptions of us can affect how we see ourselves and affect how we carry ourselves. If a tall girl is walking confidently, head held high, shoulders back, she can be seen as full of herself or cocky. But on the other hand, if she makes herself smaller, she could be seen as insecure or unconfident. Either way, people are going to have something to say. But in that case scenario, we would tend to go in the direction of the majority of the population, or the majority. And that can be different. That can vary and depending on where you live, because in some countries, the average height tends to be taller, but I live in America, so the average height is shorter than me. So if we live in an environment where the majority is shorter than us, we would try to make ourselves smaller or make ourselves shorter as a way to kind of fit in, quote unquote, so that even though people see us as a certain way, we could at least somehow convince ourselves that we are around their height, or we are not too different from them. And that shouldn't be the case. We shouldn't feel cringy for being confident. We shouldn't feel cringy for walking confidently. We shouldn't feel cringy about feeling ourselves, taking pictures and the night out in the town. I don't know why I keep bringing that up. But we just shouldn't feel cringy about wanting to be ourselves and wanting to feel good about being ourselves, or feel good about embracing the traits that we have. And now that I'm saying we shouldn't feel cringe, we shouldn't have to feel cringe, you may be asking me right now, but how do I just not feel cringe? Or how do I feel less cringe? My number one thing about feeling less cringe, or getting over that cringe of feeling yourself, is to keep being cringy. Hear me out. I'm not saying to go overboard with it. Too much of anything is not a good thing, of course, but keep doing the things that make you feel cringy. Like I said before, taking pictures while you are out in public at the night out in the town or whatever, or wearing something that is out of your comfort zone, but something that you want to experiment with because you think that that fits your style way better than your previous style. Just keep doing the things that you feel is cringe, and over time, it will just feel like second nature to you. If you keep doing something over and over and over, it's gonna feel like second nature. Just like when you study for an exam, what do? You read the topic and do practice problems over and over and over on the same topics until it eventually gets ingrained in your brain. You keep doing the same things over and over and over again so that you're prepared for the exam. Or if you're a musician like me and you have a performance coming up, what do? You rehearse the same pieces that you're going to perform over and over and over again until it becomes like second nature, or muscle memory, as we like to call it. So you will eventually get better at something if you keep doing it or keep practicing. The way to become less cringe about feeling yourself is to just keep being cringy, because after a while, you're gonna get so used to it. It's like, and what about it? Also, can you do me a favor? Can you stop slouching? Can you keep your shoulders back? Hold your head up high. I know being tall can be annoying at times, but you want to know what's more annoying? Back pain. Yeah, like I said before, if you keep doing something over and over and over again, you're going to get better at it. So if you are more aware of your posture, if you're more aware of maintaining good posture, then you're going to keep that good posture, which has a lot of benefits, including the fact that you can actually breathe easier. Yeah, your posture can affect your breathing. So if you could just stop slouching so you can get more oxygen in, which is good for your brain and your body, that would be nice. And wear the heels. If you are a tall girl looking for a sign to wear some 4-inch heels, this is it. Put them on. And when you enter that room and everybody starts staring at you, just know that you're doing something right. And give them a little wink for me. I'm going to need you to get more comfortable with sticking out and standing out. This is the reason why we're tall. We're made to stick out. We're made to stand out. We're made to be unique. We're made to be that person. And wearing heels, if you want to. If you don't want to, that's fine. Because I physically, if it's not like those block heels, like those 1-inch block heels, I am not wearing it, because I will actually fall and break my life. I cannot walk properly in heels. Maybe I just need to practice. I haven't practiced because then again, I am a commuter student. So all I wear ever is sneakers because I walk practically everywhere I go. But if you want to wear heels, if you're second guessing wearing those heels, I want you to wear them anyways. I want you to practice in them. I want you to practice walking confidently in them. And I want you to feel good wearing them. So wear the heels. You're only going to get better. You're only going to feel better the more you do it. And lastly, I'm going to say, just embrace your height. Your height is something that you cannot control. Also, other people's perceptions of you, other people's comments about you, about your height, about your features, whatever, is something that you can't control. But what you can control is what you choose to do about it. What you can't control is your reaction to the situation. What you can control is how you think about yourself. So instead of dwelling on why can't I be like this, why can't I look like this, why can't I be this height, why can't this person stop saying these things about me, just focus on how can I feel confident about myself? How can I feel better? How can I feel less cringe? What can I do to make me at least feel good about me, or make me believe that I am that person, or I look good, or I feel good? What can I do to convince myself that I am a baddie, I am that person, I am lit, and what about it? Because once you convince yourself of that, once you convince yourself that you are this confident, secure, awesome person, it's easier to convince other people of the same thing, because that energy just simply radiates from you. So instead of focusing on what's happening externally, it's smarter to focus on what's happening internally, so that the internal can positively affect the external, if that makes sense. Listen to me, getting over that cringe of feeling yourself, or getting over that cringe of doing whatever it is you feel cringy about, is not the easiest process. It's going to take time. Still, because if you follow me on Instagram, you'll know that I've actually transitioned from just regular graphics to posting pictures of myself. I've been doing that for a couple weeks now, and I still feel cringy taking pictures of myself in public, but it just feels less cringy than when I first started out, because I kept doing it and I kept seeing it a different way. I say that these photos are going to help grow my community over on social media, so I could reach other tall women who can listen to this podcast and hopefully feel better and comfortable in their own skin and their own height. Also, funny thing, I'm going to give you a little tip. If you feel cringe about taking pictures in public and people looking at you and staring at you, especially when you're taking these pictures by yourself, what I started doing is I started seeing myself as a tourist. I started saying I'm a tourist, because especially if you live in a big city, but if you live anywhere in general, I'm sure you've seen tourists around, and all tourists do is take pictures, especially in front of the places where everybody is at. Like the big monuments, the popular destinations. Because you live there, you're probably like, I literally walk past this thing every single day. I don't understand what's so special about it. But to them, it's special because they've never seen it before, or they've never been in front of it before. But they shamelessly take pictures and don't care. So I'm trying to channel my inner tourist. I'm trying to channel my inner tourist and be like, even though I live in this place, I'ma still act like a tourist. Tourists shamelessly take pictures of themselves in front of everybody and don't care, because they want to get that picture before they go back, because who knows when they're ever going to stand in front of it again. And that's what I'm telling myself. I'm going to take these pictures in this outfit because who knows when I'm going to wear it again. I'm going to take pictures in front of this place because who knows if I'm ever going to pass by this place again. Once I started doing that, my mindset completely changed. So when people started staring at me, I was like, I'm a tourist. And what about it? But anyways, I'm going to end this episode here. I hoped at least that last tip helped somebody. I think it did. I think it will. I feel like my tips help you guys. Let me know. Hit me up at A Tall Girls Podcast on Instagram, TikTok, and Pinterest, and Facebook, since I revealed to you guys that A Tall Girls Podcast is indeed on Facebook. Hit me up. Let me know if you found these tips helpful. Let me know if you have any more tips on getting over that cringe of feeling yourself, or just we could talk about our cringy moments together. Let's do that. Let's talk about our cringy moments. I like talking about cringy moments. It makes me feel less cringy. It makes me feel less cringy. Also, feel free to leave me a review and let me know how tall you are. Everything is going to be linked in the description. And I'll catch you in the next one. Good night and goodbye.